For 35 years, audiences tuned in to a voice that felt like home. Dondi Mercer Plank spent 27 of those years as the beloved evening anchor at WIS News 10 in Columbia.
Compliments of the Greater Columbia Chamber of Commerce. This is how we're taking it all.
Guiding viewers through the day's stories with professionalism and heart.
There's got to be such a fine line between freedom and security. So how have you navigated between giving people their liberties, but yet calling for restrictions for their safety?
In 2023, she retired as one of the station's most popular anchors of all time. Tonight, we celebrate her extraordinary career and the people she championed along the way.
Dondi, congratulations on this great honor. And you're so deserving because you were such a joy to work with. You're one of the sweetest, kindest people that I know. And your dedication every day, like coaches like to say, they love players who come to work with their lunch pail and they bring it every day. They give it all they've got. They work extremely hard. And that's you and your attention to detail. You wanted things done the right way every day, and you certainly did that. And one of my favorite stories about working with you, we were at the Outback Bowl. I think it was the second Outback Bowl under Lou Holtz as head coach of the Gamecocks. And I was having trouble with my voice. I think I made it through the 6 o'clock show. By 7 o'clock came, I had no voice. I was able to put my package together. So Dondi did all the talking during our live shot. I just stood there and just tried to look pretty and nod and smile. But yeah, she really came out of the bullpen that time to help me out. And also some of my favorite moments at the end of a newscast, when the credits are rolling, Dondi and I would pretend to talk to each other. We would go, and we'd always think about, hey, wonder what the folks at home are wondering what we're talking about. And now you know, it was a bunch of nothing. But again, Dondi, congratulations. I am so happy for you.
Dondi's journey began in the local newsroom beyond South Carolina, with early years in Green Bay and a chapter in Houston before she joined WIS in 1992. Across decades of coverage, from elections and breaking news to quiet human interest stories, she set the standard for accuracy, calm delivery, and an interviewer's curiosity.
I'll tell you that on the news at 11 tonight.
I got to work with Dondi for the better part of 7 years, pretty much the entirety of my 20s. And when I think about Dondi, the image that sticks in my head is her back in 2015 when I had just started my job at WIS and we were covering the 1,000-year flood. And I'd never covered anything to this degree in my short career yet. And I remember watching her work. I remember the papers all around her on the desk. I remember the way that she was able to synthesize information and regurgitate it in a way that was calm, accurate, and informational for our community. And I just remember looking at her and watching her do it and going, that's how it's done. That's a masterclass in how to be a broadcaster and how to be a really good one. So to have had several years of getting to work underneath her and learn from her, those are lessons that I carry with me today and that will last a lifetime. So to say that I'm grateful is such an understatement, and she deserves to be awarded and honored in this way.
Her work earned many honors. The SC Broadcasters Association Personality of the Year in 1994, a Southeast Regional Emmy, repeated Best TV Anchor nods from the Columbia Metropolitan Magazine, and several Best Anchor Personality Awards from the Free Times. Away from the desk, Dondi is a devoted wife and friend, a marathoner, a triathlete, an equestrian, and an advocate for healthy living and plant-based nutrition. Dondi used her platform to amplify causes that mattered. She participated for years in the Sister Study on breast cancer, supported local nonprofits, and helped bring attention to organizations across the Midlands. Her statewide contributions were recognized with the Order of the Palmetto, the highest civilian honor in South Carolina.
Good evening. This is your Governor, Henry McMaster, and I'm proud to congratulate Dondi Mercer Plank on receiving the Master's Award of Distinction. Dondi's positive influence on South Carolina has been enormous. She has informed, encouraged, entertained, and assisted. She's consoled and cheered ever since she arrived. Mention her name, and people smile. Thank you, Dondi, and congratulations.
It was probably 2021. Dondi was doing a series on the noon show. It was Talkin' Trash Tuesday. And she was obviously a big advocate for keeping South Carolina beautiful and for advocacy and making sure that the area is looking the best that it can be by picking up litter. And my family and I organized a little litter cleanup in our neighborhood. And Dondi caught wind of this and she wanted us to be on the noon show. And so I came on and had some pictures of the kids picking up trash, and I just remember Dondi being so incredibly supportive and so kind and so thankful and so gracious and saying like the nicest things about that effort. And it just, you know, we were glad to do it, but obviously, you know, just knowing that it warmed Dondi's heart to see something that she cared about so much, other people kind of participating was cool to see. Dondi, I will always appreciate some of the great conversations that we had surrounding faith and just the incredible relationship with God that you enjoyed and that you showed each and every day, and just how that came out in so many different ways, and some of the talks that we'd have either after a show or in the newsroom from time to time about what God's doing in our lives. And that's something that I'll always appreciate and something that I truly treasure.
Well, as I think most people know, Dondi and I worked together for a very long time, so long that some people actually started confusing us and mixing us up, which we always thought was so funny and was so hard to believe, but that always gave us a good laugh in the newsroom. And you know, when I think back, obviously Dondi has an incredibly accomplished career, but some of my favorite memories are things that we did outside of the newsroom. Being at her wedding to Craig, which was so beautiful. Her coming to my home warming at my new house and welcoming our boys home. They still have a bird feeder that she gave them. I can't remember how many years ago, but even Dondi coming to my rescue to try and be a great wife to my husband, Dwayne. We were hosting this big event at my house and I had this recipe that called for boiling like 10 potatoes. And I'm like, I do not have pots to boil 10 potatoes. Like, how are you even supposed to do this? And I'm calling Dondi, I'm texting Dondi. She is literally at the Billy Graham retreat, teaching, I think she was at the time, but she is just sharing the word of the Lord, and she takes my call and so sweetly and so calmly and so patiently explains to me, Judy, you have to cut the potatoes first. You don't put big potatoes in the pot to be able to boil them. So anyway, I know that story will give her a good laugh tonight. I could list for hours the accomplishments and really the contributions that she made to our newsroom. She was always known as the grammar guru. I mean, honestly, if Dondi was in the newsroom, there was not going to be a run-on sentence. There was not going to be a mispreposition or verb disagreement or any of that. But we appreciated that, the attention to detail. But more than anything else, I just appreciate Dondi's heart. She was always willing to listen to young producers. She was always willing to offer guidance and advice in such a constructive way, in such a helpful way that made everybody around her so much better. And so I know that she is thoroughly enjoying life after TV. We miss her so much, but you know, there's a time and a season for everything. And to take this moment and this time to honor all that she has contributed to WIS, to our work family, to everyone who has ever come through the doors at WIS, and just to the industry and the business of journalism with integrity. She certainly has a lot to be proud of, and I am so proud to be able to call her my friend. Congratulations, Dondi.
Thank you, Dondi, for the stories, the steady presence, and all your tireless service to this community. From your colleagues, your neighbors, and all who were fortunate to listen, we are grateful.